what? Hey guys, I'm Didi Beck and that is John. I'm a filmmaker, an intuitive reader, and today we are talking about the clairs of intuition. What they are, the most common clairs, and a couple lesser known clairs. The clairs refer to the prefix for the words used to describe how intuition tends to manifest. And you usually hear about the four big ones, which are clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, and clairaudience. Clair is French for clair, so it's pretty intuitive. Clairvoyance is clair seeing, and this is a super common type of intuition. Often it's when you see something in your mind's eye, or sometimes people dream. In fact, I think dreaming, in my experience, is probably the most common form of clairvoyance that I hear about. Also, when psychics look into a crystal ball, which is called scrying, this is the clair that they're tapping into. They're focusing their vision on one thing and they are allowing their intuition to present them with visual information. I will say so many more people are clairvoyant than they realize, mostly because of dreaming. Pay attention to your dreams. I found in my own clairvoyant experiences, I will see a symbol for something. Like, I won't have literal visions of things, although sometimes I do, but most of the time I see like symbols of things and they will represent something else. For example, I think I've actually given this one before, but like sometimes I will see bridges when there's like a transitionary period for something, or sometimes I will see like wind blowing, or rivers, or oceans, or like ducks swimming in a lake, you know. That is to say, do not get discouraged or turned off from this if you don't have visions that translate literally, because I find most people are clairvoyant but they don't know it because they see symbols, and those symbols represent like different things to them that they haven't yet pieced together. This also works when I'm reading tarot for people, because as I have mentioned before on my channel, I use tarot cards as antennas to like directly access my intuition. So sometimes I will see a tarot card and it will like trigger another visual thing, or like it will poke at some kind of symbol or like literal image. Clairvoyance is truly the potato of clairs. A second kind of common clair is clairsentience, and that is clair feeling and clair emotion. Ugh. This is the empath clair. We clairsentient people feel the emotion and feel the feelings of a situation, and that is how our intuition comes through to us. A lot of medical intuitive people have this. For example, Carolyn Myss has this book called The Anatomy of Spirit, and she talks about, she's a medical intuitive as well, and she talks about the various feelings that she can get when she works with a patient on like healing their dysfunction or their condition or something. But you as a clairsentient person might be able to feel things in your own body or other people's bodies that might be indicative of anger or happiness or excitement or doubt, but also sometimes like literally things like headaches and stomach aches and like knee injuries and hip dysfunction. I don't know, like just like the weirdest things have come through with this. I've also given this example, but it's just like I now know two friends who have this same experience. When they eat meat, they can feel the fear of the animal when it was dying, like when they eat the meat, and so they just like can't, they have to be vegetarian or vegan because there is simply no other option for them. The experience of it is too much. That is clairsentience. But to my fellow HSPs and empaths and strong feelers, yes, you're a strong feeler, but also know it is very much your superpower. It's a form of intuition. You can feel other people's energies. You can read a room like a professional. Clairsentience. The root of many of my headaches. Just kidding. It's also a massive gift. Okay, the third kind of super common clair is clairaudience. I cannot tell you how many friends have told me that they hear bells ringing, and I'm not talking about like, I don't know what it's called, the thing where you have perpetual ringing in your ears. It's not the same thing. This that I'm referring to is like you're going about your day, you've got fairly healthy hearing. All of a sudden, your hearing in one ear or both ears will go out, and it's just like that deafening noise or like a deafening ring. This is the clair that kind of confounds me the most in my own personal experience, because this has happened to me. I experienced this clair. I just don't, like, what does it translate to? I don't know. All the ways that clairaudience can turn up in your personal experience. Lots of times I've had friends tell me they'll wake up in the middle of the night and they can swear that they hear somebody calling their name, but like it's the middle of the night and they're alone, you know? Or I've had an experience where I've woken up in the middle of the night and I hear somebody clapping. Like it almost seems like that was the reason I woke up, you know, because somebody was like clapping right beside my ear and also like yelling at me, but I can hear it. It feels so real. I can hear it. Not the same way that like you can hear this audio. It's like the memory of a sound, if that makes sense. I have friends who hear bells ringing, like actual bells. I have friends who hear like birds chirping or clapping in the distance, almost like an audience or like a standing ovation. And sometimes I've had friends who hear like the answers to things, which reminds me, I have had that experience as well. Like I have communicated like mediumship with spirits that reside beyond the veil, and I have heard them talking to me, like the memory of a sound, not like this noise or anything, but it's like I'm remembering something that somebody told me and I can hear their voice, except I don't know these people who I was talking to, and I'm just like hearing them. I do believe that is also clairaudience. Finally, the fourth kind of common clair is claircognizance. This is the root of the psychic experience. I think this is the clair that most psychics tap into the most, apart from clairvoyance. I think those two are very much hand in hand a lot of the time. But with claircognizance, it feels like sometimes it feels like an idea or like something will just like pop into your head that seems to have come from nowhere. Like maybe you'll just suddenly think of the number 2. In my experience, claircognizance is very strong for me, so it will often feel like I am remembering a long lost memory. Or if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like either knowingly or unknowingly tapping into their intuitive space or their energy, it will feel like I am remembering something that they could have told me, and I'll say, oh yeah, you already told me that, we were talking about it last week, and they'll be like, my girl, no, we were not. But that is claircognizance. It's like remembering something that you were told, which is technically not an inaccurate way to describe it, because it's all information in the universal consciousness, and you happen to be either knowingly or unknowingly beaming up to get it and allowing it to come through. So claircognizance, it's just like you just know something. You have no proof of it, but like you just know it. You don't know, you just know it. While these 4 that I just listed tend to be the most common ways that intuition takes form in the human experience, there are as many clairs as there are human experiences. It can turn up in so many ways. You might have a niche clair that I have not mentioned yet. In fact, I think you probably do. Please tell me about it, please. I'll talk about 2 more niche clairs that I know of though. The first is Clairalience or Clairalience. I honestly don't know how to pronounce it, but it is clair smelling. This is a pretty common one actually. Maybe I should make it the 5 clairs. I have so many friends who tell me about the time that they think that they've been visited by a loved one who may have transitioned to beyond the veil because they smelled their perfume, or they smelled their cigar, or they smelled the scent of freshly cut grass because they used to mow the lawn every Sunday, like that kind of thing. It's clair smelling. It tends to go hand in hand with visitations. I know someone who smells smoke every time that there's a death in her family or the family of somebody she's close to. I myself have smelled smoke. I have smelled roses. I have smelled perfume. In fact, I have an incredible story about the time I smelled a ghost in Portland, Oregon, which I definitely have to record a video about that. That was insane. A second kind of niche clair is Clairgustance or Clairgustance. Again, these niche clairs, I really do not know how to pronounce them. I'll be Googling that, I suppose. Clairgustance is clair tasting. This is a very strange experience to have. Let me tell you. It's just disturbing. I only say that because my personal experience is like tasting blood. Anytime somebody around me is injured, I can usually tell before they tell me or before I turn around and see it because I can taste blood. It is so disturbing. It usually makes me really nauseous, but ugh. There are other experiences I've heard about, like I know people who taste coffee sometimes, or like they'll taste metal, and to me that sounds a lot less disturbing than blood. I don't know, this is a very interesting clair, but if you are a clairgustant person, please let me know what your experience is, because it's just bizarre. A broader definition of what clairgustance is people who are able to tell more about something, or people whose intuition comes through and they get information when they put something in their mouth. That could be very interesting. That could be a very interesting situation. If you have identified your clair, or if you have like a niche clair that I didn't talk about, please tell me about it. I am so curious. I cannot get enough of this. Like, this is the stuff I stay up late at night and Google. What kind of things are you hearing? What kind of things are you seeing, tasting, smelling, feeling? Let me know in a comment below. Hopefully this video helped you identify the ways that your intuition could be showing up in your life experience. If it was, give it a thumbs up. This helps me grow and it helps me spread the word to more people. I love teaching you about your intuition so that you can feel empowered to trust yourself always. I've linked everything down below, including a link to my booking page if you'd like to have a reading with me one-on-one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.